Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to another episode of In Depth with David. This is the long-awaited Team USA Olympic basketball recap, number one, where we will be recapping Team USA's performance yesterday morning against France in their first meaningful game. And once again, I'm joined by my partner who helps me recap all these basketball games, Carter. Carter, how you doing?
Yes, sir. I'm doing wonderful, Davey. Wasn't doing too well after watching that game, but we're here to see another day, so we're good.
Before we go any further, I just want to promote this. This is a new thing we're doing on this channel where we're going to recap the game on here for about 30 to 45 minutes. And once we're done here, it won't be the last you see of us. It'll be the last you see of us on YouTube for the night. But after, we will be doing an after show on this new app available on Android and iOS called Spotify Greenroom. You just got to create an account, follow my account as it says in that comment at David411, and then join the room. And me and Carter will also be on there. Going to be talking about, could be just Olympic basketball, could be basketball in general, but just something basketball related. And you guys run the show, so if you come into the room, you can unmute your mic, and it's kind of like sports radio where you can call in and give your opinion. So just request to speak. We'll let you speak. You can give a take, and then we'll talk about it. So just something new we're trying. I think it's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah. I'm ready.
Yes, we love basketball too.
Shout out to Matt Higgy, the man himself.
So where do we want to get started with this? Because to put this into perspective, to everyone watching, I was at the Red Sox game yesterday when this was happening. After it happened, but I was on the way to the park as the game was going on. And for anyone that's a baseball fan, that was probably one of the best games all year. Probably the best game I've ever been to, any sporting event.
Really? What happened? Let me hear a little bit about the game.
Yeah, real quick, they were down 4-0 heading into the eighth inning, and they scored 5 runs in one inning to give them the lead and win. So it looked like for sure we were going to lose, but then we snatched a victory away from the Yankees. So
wow, that's actually a nice game to go to.
Yeah, in epic fashion. And so I was watching that, but Carter texted me during the game. He's like, "Oh, dang, Team USA lost," and like, what a great start to the Olympics.
It looked bad. It looked bad. We were talking about it on the Spotify Green Room. I think it was like 2 days ago. How we had a lot of hopes for the U.S., but this first game really worried me. They just couldn't do anything in the paint. The team is just all shooters. There's just no support in the paint. They have JaVale McGee in the paint against Defensive Player of the Year. How many times? Like 2 times, 3 times? Not 2 times, I think. Rudy Gobert.
2-time, yep.
And France they were just killing them out there. But the U.S. did have a lead for a little bit. They were holding on for a little bit. Then I think it was they missed like the last 9 shots, the U.S. And it's like, if they're a team full of shooters and they can't shoot, nothing, what's going to happen.
See, I don't think I'll be the first person to say that I'm actually shocked with what happened yesterday. Even though I didn't see the game and I watched highlights after the fact, a lot of people are going to say that they saw this coming after losing a couple of scrimmages, saying that this team, it just doesn't seem like they have that mojo of the Olympic teams of years past. But I, along with you, I think just kept on thinking, like, we're bound to get on a roll. Like, we'll be fine. Just got to dust off the cobwebs. It's been a long season for all of them. But the fact that we're already into, like, getting into the meaningful games and you lose your first one, I mean, this is very concerning. This is like, panic button territory.
Yeah, this is not good for them. I don't really know if there's like a specific like person to blame. Like, it's like the team as a whole, they just didn't play well. Like, I don't know if you can blame like maybe Greg Popovich for. It's hard to coach a team of all stars. You know what I mean? Like, how can you really coach that? Like, what is he running through the Spurs like offense? Like, how is he coaching the team? Bring back Melo. I agree.
Olympic Melo does solve all problems. He's another animal.
He should be there.
I don't know. Like, I know people keep on saying that, and I don't know if he had interest, but like, if he had interest and Popovich just said no, like, why would you turn him down? Like, oh, he's 37. So what? He's like,
so what? Chris Paul's 30 something too, 36, 35. They can do anything.
And like, Melo has some of the best footwork in NBA history. He's automatic from the mid range, and he's still got it from 3. So
he's still good too.
If they had a chance to pick him up, they should have. But going back to that Popovich point, I read something after they lost to France yesterday. A report came out saying that the players are frustrated with Popovich, saying that his schemes aren't working and they don't like playing team basketball versus they'd rather play like hero ball or, just feed the hot hand. But Popovich, which has been his MO since his early days with the Spurs and like the Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili days, what he's done is just prioritize team basketball in the game plan. And he's trying to bring his Spurs plan to the Olympic team, which is a bunch of, now 20 to 30-year-old kids who unfortunately all have egos. So it's just really not working. So do you think it's a Popovich problem? Because I think that's part of it.
It definitely is, because he's got so good at coaching one way for the Spurs just for so long, and it worked. It definitely did work for a while, but he doesn't have the players like he used to have. And the Spurs team, I'm pretty sure they missed the playoffs like the first time in like 20 years. Like, was it 2 seasons ago? Maybe last season? I don't really remember which season it was, but it's not going to work. Popovich, it's outdated. He's trying to trying to coach this team like it's a team in the 90s. Times have changed. They want to play hero ball.
And I think that's the perfect way to chalk it all up it's outdated. I lost my train of thought for a second, but another great comparison to compare it to football is Bill Belichick, just letting Tom Brady go without a fight and thinking like, I can take any quarterback and take this New England Patriots team to the playoffs with not much talent around it. And we got exposed last season, and Tom Brady slapped everyone in New England across the face and won another Super Bowl. So we all know how that worked out. And it's just Popovich trying to take a strategy where, yes, it could work back in the early 2000s, late 90s team basketball. The Detroit Pistons upset the Los Angeles Lakers with that game plan where they beat Shaq and Kobe with only Chauncey Billups as their best player because they just focused on team basketball. You can't do that in this day and age, and not only the NBA, but in Olympic basketball, because you need to just make sure you have 2 to 3 amazing players on your team, have the offense run through them, and then everything else will work out. And you have a pretty big chance of winning games. But when you have I would say there's like 5 superstars or 5 franchise players on this team of 12 people, they all are trying to fight for it. You can't expect to successfully run an offense where everyone touches the ball on every possession. It's just not going to work. And it's not a successful plan either, because if Damian Lillard's hot, you want to keep feeding him and want him to keep shooting. You don't want to break his rhythm.
Yeah, then you have players like KD just waiting in the corner, or someone like Jason Tatum that you could feed. It's just, you don't know.
Devin Booker.
Yeah, anybody on the team you could feed, and it's just a team full of scorers, and I feel like their defense wasn't very good in the game either. Like, from what I saw, something I could
appreciate the support.
Of course. That Popovich, he's got superstars left and right.
It's very concerning that they haven't been able to figure this out yet. But
I know, and the fact that he's just had so many years in the coaching experience, I feel like he might have just gotten too comfortable with that play style, where it's going to be hard to switch it up. It's been how many scrimmage games? I think there was 3 scrimmage games.
3 scrimmages, and now they just played a 4th game.
Yeah, so they should at least be clicking. Maybe something should be going on, but it didn't. Popovich is still trying that same play style. You got to switch it up as hard as it's going to be. They need to switch it up, or else I don't even know if they're going to get a silver medal. Who would have thought?
I know. It's such a strong lineup too, because I believe the lineup they put out yesterday was Lillard. Who else? I have it right here. Lillard. Oh, I got to scroll down, of course. Lillard, Levine, Durant, Draymond Green, and Bam Adebayo. So essentially everyone in that lineup can hit a jumper and should be able to play some defense. And we really didn't see any of that yesterday. I think the biggest thing, at least I noticed from the highlights, is France took advantage of that matchup we were nervous about in the Spotify Greenroom episode we did, where it was Rudy Gobert in the paint, and we really don't have anyone to compete with him. And not just him, but you had players like Fournier and former Celtic legend Gershon Yabusele just taking it to the paint and really dominating us down there.
For real. And Fournier, he was hitting those threes too. I think it was first quarter. They just they got an offensive, he shot a 3, they got an offensive rebound, just dished it right back out to him for 3, and he was just hitting them in their face. And it was like a combo, just watching Rudy Gobert and then Evan Fournier just cook up the USA team. I was like, what is happening? It was so stressful to watch.
And why couldn't he do that for the Celtics, Fournier? I saw he put up 28 points on, what was the shooting percentage? It was something wild. 50% from the field, 33% from three. And he was easily the best player, not only for Team France, but on the whole floor last night. And
definitely,
if we can't even shut him down, it's like, not that obviously he's the best player on their team and he proved his worth, and he had a solid game last night, but we literally have so many players on our team that replicate his play style that it's just a little ridiculous we couldn't shut him down.
I know. I can't believe it. Like, not even Kevin Durant should at least have some insider info how to stop Evan Fournier, but they really let him get that many points and like make Rudy Gobert like this, like what I think he was the second in scoring. Like, that's just insane to me. They didn't even like. I feel like Nicholas Batum didn't even play that well either, and he's a pretty solid player. So that France team, like, they weren't even. I mean, they did play really well. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like they could have played even better, which is scary because the U.S. How did they? I just don't see how they lost by, what was it, 7 points? I think they went on. I think it was like a 15-2 run at the end. France. They went on like some crazy run where like the U.S. just didn't score, and it's like, how? Come on, guys! What are you doing? Piece it together.
And another thing I saw was, as terrible as we shot, it was also pretty bad, the fouls to field goals ratio. So Devin Booker, who only played about 20 minutes, had 2 fouls compared to 1 made field goal. Awful ratio. Draymond Green
awful.
Shouldn't surprise us a lot because this just embodies who he is as a player. He doesn't light up the stat sheet, but he had 4 fouls to 1 made field goal. Kevin Durant had 5 fouls to 4 made field goals. JaVale McGee had 1 foul, no made field goals, and Levine had both 3 fouls and 3 made field goals. So just awful ratios, and concerning that someone who we consider to be the best player on our team, Kevin Durant, is not only getting into foul trouble, but is only hitting 4 shots.
That's
because
not good.
70, and that's the other thing too. 76 points is all we scored. We're supposed to be the USA team. Like we're like Thanos, the Thanos of the Olympics.
Exactly. And Rudy Gobert is not that good where he can stop the entire country's team to 76 points. That's unreal to me. That's absolutely unreal. Like this, looking at this box score right now, it's gross. It's just gross to say the least.
Do you think France beat us or we beat ourselves? Because I'll give my answer first. I think we beat ourselves in terms of just this team is just reminding me a lot of the 2018-2019 Celtics where we had Kyrie, Hayward, like a stacked team, Horford, Morris, Rozier, Jaylen Brown, Tatum. I mean, it's almost like you're too good. You're too good for your own good. As weird as that sounds, like you have too many good players, but not a strong game plan or no chemistry. But I don't want to say this team doesn't have any chemistry because I think they do, and they all genuinely like each other. It's just, I don't know what you do here. Whatever they're doing as a game plan just isn't working, and it's frustrating to see because of all the star power they have. But you have people like Kevin Durant taking 12 shots but only making 4. Lillard only taking 10 shots but making 3. Both of them should be taking way more shots. And then you have someone off the bench, Drew Holiday, who less than a week ago just won the NBA Finals, comes in and takes 13 shots and is your leading scorer, but he still missed 8 shots.
That makes no sense to me why he's their leading scorer. Like just looking at this box score, seeing him as the leading scorer and the one that took the most shots, took more than Durant and took more than Damian Lillard. It makes no sense. Do you think I feel like it's definitely Popovich's fault? Because do you think he just like sees the players missing the shots and he's like, all right, next player, next shooter, just keeps moving on to the next shooter to see which one might have the hot hand, and then he's going to try to play through them? It feels like that's what he's trying to do, but it looks like none of them had the hot hand. They all just were bricking all night.
It's just very concerning because I think he views all these players as what they can do in the NBA and not what they can do in the Olympics. And what I mean by that is you have someone like Draymond Green in the starting lineup who what he did in that game works for the Warriors well, where he can score 2 points and get 21 assists because he's a facilitator. His job is to find open shots for Curry and Clay. That's going to be his job next year too with the Warriors. we need more out of him in the Olympics, especially if we're going to be losing these close games like we did just last night to France, or yesterday morning to France. He can't just go the whole game having 4 fouls and only taking 1 shot and ending with 2 points. You need him to be more aggressive. You also just need more contributions across the whole board. I think of the 12 people on France, 11 of the players scored at least 2 points. And on Team USA, we had Chris Middleton, Keldon Johnson off the bench scoring 0 points, going scoreless. And
it looks so bad. It looks so bad.
You might as well say Draymond Green was scoreless too, even though he had 2 points. So
basically scoreless.
You need more distribution, but at the same time, you need your stars to show why they're stars. It's kind of hard to explain, but I really think we beat ourselves. There's so many shots we could have made. I mean, I didn't see the end sequence, but I don't know if you can confirm this, but everyone was saying that at the end we missed so many shots with a chance to get the win.
Yeah, it was. I think it was 9 shots in a row is what they missed, which is just, it's terrible. It's just atrocious shooting, and I don't know. Like looking at the first quarter scoring, the US they came into the game pretty hot, like we were talking about in the Spotify Green Room the other day. Like they came into the game pretty high. It looked like it was a pretty solid chance of them taking this game. They looked pretty confident. And then second quarter came. They're still, it was back and forth. Felt like back and forth. Then the third quarter came, and then just the U.S. scored 11 points. How do you score 11 points? How? I don't understand. We've seen these players score 11 points in probably a minute, 2 minutes. Damian Lillard, we've seen him score 11 points in minutes. How does that even happen? I really don't understand.
Goes back to, I hate to keep ratting on Popovich, but this just goes back to his game plan.
It all does go back to him. Everything we talk about just seems to go back to the coach. So
you have to let these star players do their thing. You can't restrict them. It's a very tight rope, but it's just so easy for someone like Coach K. I don't know. I think doing less is doing more as a coach in the Olympics. That's how I look at it. I don't think you really should have to coach much, especially if you're on Team USA. Sorry to cut you off, but the 2012 team real quickly, and probably 2016 too. I don't remember that Olympics as much, but it was just so easy to tell those teams, all right, LeBron, Kobe, CP3, Jimmy Butler, Melo.
Do your thing.
Do your thing. That's it. You don't have to run plays. Just let them run their own plays. Let them draw the plays.
Yeah, I think their choice of coaching might have been too professional for the Olympics. They just need to have fun out there. I feel like all the other years of watching the Olympics, it seemed like they were just going out there and just having fun with their friends, playing basketball and just dominating every game. And it seems like this is just they're not having fun out there. They're just, obviously they're probably not meant to have fun really in the Olympics, but at least they should try to work as a team. It just doesn't look like there's any chemistry, but like you said, there definitely is chemistry there. We just can't see it on the court. And it could just go right back to Popovich. What could they do, do you think? Do you think they should sub him out for one of the other 5 coaches they have? Or do you think Popovich should just take a step back and let the players decide what's going on?
So the interesting tidbit about Popovich is since he's taken over as coach of the Olympic team, they finished 7th in the World Championship in 2018, and they've now lost 3 of 5 games with this current roster. It might be an ego thing with Popovich because I guarantee he's in it for the long haul. He's not he's very stubborn, and he's earned the right to do that. He's made to the final 6 times and won 5 championships, so he can do whatever the heck he wants. But at the same time, you have to adapt, and that's what a lot of these older coaches in every sport don't realize is that in order to keep winning, sometimes the league changes, and you really need to change with the league. And this quote I have right here is, the players are frustrated too, grumbling on their way back to the locker room about running the San Antonio offense when apparently they feel like there are better ideas. Pop has said because of the truncated nature of Team USA's training camp, the offense will be based on concepts instead of set plays. So I think you have it right. I think you just need to run set plays.
Yeah. So most of the players are used to. The only person that could be used to the Spurs offense is just Keldon Johnson, who really is it. Let them boys ball. Exactly. Just let them ball. Popovich, take a step back. just,
He's.
I mean, what are you gonna say?
I was just gonna say quickly. I think Popovich's huge long-term plan got in the way when choosing this team versus just getting the best players available. But continue.
Oh no, I was just about to say that he just it's so hard to like tell someone how to do their job, and I feel like Popovich is just not gonna.
No,
he's not gonna listen. He's not gonna let anybody listen. He's gonna block everybody out and just say, "Nope, this is how I'm doing it. It's worked. I made it to the finals 5 times. This is how I'm gonna do it." Which he has the right to do so. It's just, it's not gonna work this time, Pop. It's not gonna work this time.
tell me how much success he's had since 2014, the last time he won the finals. The year after, they got eliminated. The point is they haven't won a championship since then, and they came close like once to making it back to the finals. So, he has to adapt. He doesn't. I don't know who is in the pool for Olympic players, but it seems like he was just picking people who he thinks are mid-level players in the NBA, but fit what he wants.
Wait, he picks the players out of like a list of them, or I thought it was just whoever like the best players were. That actually I never really thought about that.
So each player gets an invitation to come. So obviously they'll invite like the best players, but like obviously like the LeBrons and the Anthony Davises of the world got invitations. But after that, it's like they have like, I'm assuming all the coaches and the staff just have severe or significant discussions on who else to invite.
Okay, I thought the players were just like asked to be in it. I didn't really realize that they picked them. Interesting.
Yeah, they get like invites. It's like they get asked. It's like, yeah, it's a two-way street essentially. Like a player can want to play all they want, but they have to get invited. Okay,
all right, that makes sense. So, yeah, then if Pop didn't invite, is there? I wish we could know who he didn't invite and who just declined it. I wish we could know who's this, so we could like pick it down and see like what our like best possible team would be.
So I think when Kevin Love and Bradley Beal had to leave the Village or Team USA because of like injuries and COVID, the rumor was that some of the players available in the pool were Julius Randle, the Knicks, Zion Williamson, and Trae Young. Okay,
if they picked Julius Randle or Zion Williamson, I feel like this would be a completely different story. Like they would help the team out so much. Like Zion would really help this team a lot. Like, they need somebody that could just dominate in the paint, and he would be perfect. He would be perfect for that.
Even though he's only 6'7", I fully believe he would have bullied Rudy Gobert in that game yesterday.
He would, if not bullied, I mean, he would have gotten us those 7 points at least to win us the game, or facilitated maybe a couple passes here and there. Just, I don't know. I really don't know. This team they're not a bad team. I don't want to say they're a bad team. It's just they just don't play well together. They really don't play well together. They don't mesh their play styles.
Because this is a 12-man roster, but really you're looking at 9 in terms of offensive power because you have Draymond Green, I guess maybe 10. So Draymond Green and JaVale McGee as 2 players who aren't really going to give you many points per night. So now you're down essentially 2 players on the offensive end. Versus if you could have had someone like a John Morant or a Trae Young or a Zion Williamson, they're giving you 15 to 20 points a game most likely. I think.
And if not, given that many, they're gonna at least give the 7 they would have needed to win or to at least tie the game. It's just I don't know, the US I doubt they can pick up players mid. I don't think they can make any substitutions or anything, so they're stuck with this squad. But maybe they could try to play JaVale McGee more. He only played 2 minutes, and although he's not the best player on this roster, he could definitely help out a little bit in the paint, or like some paint scoring. He played 2 minutes, scored 2 points. You can't knock that. I mean, I guess we'll talk more. We'll just go more in depth about the roster a bit here. So the best player on the team yesterday was Drew Holiday, as we said, coming off winning the finals a few days before. And, it's nice that he was able to contribute, but scary that he was our leading scorer. But it is encouraging that he's not dealing with any fatigue from the finals and, being in the bubble and all that we talked about. So it's definitely good to see him contribute. And I imagine, I didn't see Chris Middleton play, but
I'm sure he looked fine too.
He was just brick. He missed 2 shots, and then that was it.
Oh yeah, they only played in 5 minutes. Jeez,
He missed 2 shots, and they were like, "Well, you're out."
Booker, I'm sure he'll play more as we get deeper into the Olympics, but he did not look good. But
nobody looked good. I really feel like nobody looked good. The only person that I could say was like, okay, was like Bam Adebayo. He was doing his thing. I mean, I think he was the only player on the team that really I don't know. I could say was like, all right, you played pretty decent.
Double, 12 and 10.
Everybody else, no. It was that was bad. It was real bad. Evan Fournier did better than half all the team.
So I think part of it is just a better game plan, but also part of it is just making sure we hit our shots.
Yeah, they can hit the shots. I mean, it's a team full of shooters, so it's either if they have a good shooting night, they're going to win. If they have a bad shooting night, they're going to lose pretty poorly.
Versus, when you had people like Anthony Davis on the 2012 team, and I think even Dwight Howard was on one of those teams, and you had bullies in the paint, oh, never fear, we have rebounders and people who can dominate the paint, even way back when in 98, I think, or 2000, 96 was the dream team. And I think Shaq was on that. So obviously, he's going to be
do his thing,
menace in the paint. So we're a one-trick pony, one-dimensional team.
Yeah, they can see right through it. And these other teams, they're like regular NBA teams now. It seems like they're just any average NBA team. And I mean, they gotta treat. I really don't know what they're doing out there, man, baby. I feel like they're just choking. And if they lose this second game, you said against Iran, right?
Iran, not I walk. Iran.
Well, let's look at the roster for Iran. Is there?
Carter. I do not know a single person on that team.
Not a single person in the NBA.
I don't think anyone from the NBA is from Iran. So, I'll sum it up as this: the expectations for this Olympic team are to be like the 2017 Golden State Warriors, like Curry, Clay, and Durant, because it's just a bunch of shooters who can shoot. Because if you remember, that team's center was Zaza Pachulia, aka a no name. So that's the expectations for Team USA. The reality is what we're seeing right now, which is a ton of people breaking shots and us just automatically losing because we can't do anything else other than shoot.
That's it. That's all we can do.
They should be scared because you're literally gambling and saying, all right, guys, we better hit our shots. If not, we have no chance of winning. That's literally what's happening, as you said.
That's it. That's all he can do is shoot. And KD, I mean, if he steps up in the paint, I just get nervous whenever he's in the paint. I feel like he's gonna I don't know, he scares me. The way he moves, I don't know. I feel like someone's gonna hurt his leg in some way. But if he just if he could maybe just be a little more aggressive in the paint, let the shooters take more of the shots. And I mean, obviously he's a shooter, but maybe let Damian Lillard, let Devin Booker take more of the shots, and he can just try to get in the paint more. I feel like that could be their best possible option, maybe, if they try that out for Iran. If they don't beat Iran, they're screwed. That's it. They're screwed.
Absolutely. What does this say for Kevin Durant's overall legacy as a basketball player if we do poorly in the Olympics? Do you think it affects it that much, or do you think people are going to hold this against him?
I feel like people are going to hold it against him for probably a day, 2 days, and then we're all going to forget about it. Maybe Skip Bayless will bring it up one time, but I feel like most people, the general person, is just they're not going to say much about it. The Olympics, I don't know. I feel like nobody really talks about the Olympics when you talk about players' careers. How often are we talking about Chris Paul in the Olympics, or even like LeBron in the Olympics? Although he played amazing in the Olympics, how often do we talk about it? So I feel like it won't really affect him all that much.
Yeah, I don't think so either, because Olympics is just completely different from NBA. But it is kind of funny how the narrative would continue if KD can't get it done, that KD can't carry a team by himself. He takes the easy way out. And
that would really hurt his mental there.
Do you think this team wants it? Because I'm going to be honest, they all seem like as I said, they all seem like they get along, but I don't know if they're it's almost like they're they expect to win and just already be handed the gold medal when that's just not the case. And I think there's also a disconnect between them and Popovich's philosophy, where all these guys come into camp and they're like, where's my medal? Come on, give me my medal. And Popovich is like, calm down now. We got to play like 10 games or whatever. So I think there's also a little bit of a miscommunication on that end too. And that's probably a reason for the friction. But do you think these players want it? Or do you think they're just going in to have fun and, aren't really considering the significance of what it would mean to win a medal for the country again, a gold medal?
I feel like I agree. I feel like they're really not, like, watching them play. They could say all they want, but watching them play, it doesn't seem like they really, like, they want it. It seems like they're playing the scrimmage games still. It still looks like they're playing the scrimmage games. They're just, like, in practice. Like, these are the real games that matter. And they're not stepping up. They're not stepping up. They're not showing up. And they just, I don't know what they can do to, like, they just got to hit their shots. I can't believe that it's going to come down to just if they hit their shots or not. They are their own worst enemy. They're just destined for failure. And if they don't, like, start stepping up more, it's over. It's over for this team. I'll be surprised if they get the gold medal at this point. I'll be surprised if they get it, Davey.
Really?
I'll be honest. Really, I just see a silver or a bronze in their future. I can't even see a gold medal. After watching what France did to them, I don't know.
I still haven't lost hope or all hope yet, but this is getting a little ridiculous, them losing 3 of 5 games with all the star power they have. All the star power. Lillard, Tatum, Durant, Booker, Adebayo, rising star, Draymond Green, someone who's won 3 rings and been in the finals 5 times. Like, there is no reason why there should be any dysfunction. And some of these players have played together with each other. Durant and Draymond, we talked about that. Draymond's the reason Durant went to the Warriors. Drew Holiday and Middleton just won a bleeping championship together.
And Devin Booker, they had the flight. They had the flight to chop it up.
Which everyone keeps on saying was super awkward, but we talked about this. Like, you're not gonna be angry at each other for a whole 18-hour flight. They probably just respect. I think Chris Middleton even said, like, no, we respected each other, or like, we're all boys at the end of the day. NBA is a brotherhood.
I feel like another thing definitely is each player probably just has, like, just different mindsets going into it. Like, obviously, Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, they just won the finals. They're super excited about that. Devin Booker, he just lost in the finals. Definitely still has that lingering over his head. Kevin Durant, he was an inch away from making it to the finals. Or I wouldn't say, we could say making it to the finals, tying the game, like, the details aside, inches away from making it to the finals. And I just feel like all these players, like, they just all have, like, different things going on in their heads where they just can't come together and just work together. It seems like, I don't know. What do you think?
I think they definitely all have different motivations because, as you said, I think someone like Durant probably realizes this is his last time playing in the Olympics versus people like Tatum, maybe even Booker, I would say, like the younger guys who think, oh, this is fun. I'm going to do this 1 or 2 more times. So I think they all get along, but they all unite in wanting to disagree with Popovich. And Popovich is the stubborn 7-year-old guy who, all the respect in the world to him, second best coach in NBA history, one of the greatest coaches in sports. But you have a 7-year-old guy who is super stubborn versus a ton of 20 to 30-year-olds who all care about, Instagram clout and social media, as we talked about in a prior podcast. And, they post their fits.
Everything.
Right. They post their fits before and after games. Tatum, for like half of a 30-minute interview or something, or probably less, but for half of an interview, Tatum cried about not making the All-NBA team. So a lot of it is accolades over overall team awards. You can see that happening right here, Why aren't I getting more minutes? Who cares about a gold medal? I don't think that's happening, but as you said, they all do definitely have different motivations.
Definitely in the back of their heads, some of the players are probably a little salty that they're not getting as many minutes as they want. Like, looking at the minutes right now, it seems like France, they played Evan Fournier for 34 minutes, and no one even played past 30 minutes on the US team. I mean, it's like 28 minutes, Damian Lillard, 24 minutes, Jason Tatum, 28 minutes, Drew Holiday. I could definitely see some of these players being a little upset, like Zach LaVine probably wasn't too happy getting 18 minutes. I definitely think
Why
he
even
deserves more.
like that's another thing, Popovich. Why even start him if you're going to give him 18 minutes?
For real. It's not Brooke Lopez out there getting 20 minutes when he's starting. It's Zach LaVine. Are you kidding me? He's gonna do so much for you.
Why is Kevin Durant your star player playing only 21 minutes? That's not even half the game. Tatum played more minutes.
Sense. It just makes no sense. It's all Popovich. You know what? Everything we keep talking about, it just keeps coming back to him.
I don't like. You'd think he'd be willing to change something after losing in the Cup final thing in 2019 that we just talked about, and struggling so far in this Olympic run. Why is he? And nothing against the Spurs, but the Spurs haven't made the playoffs in the last 2 seasons, and he's trying to take that scheme to an Olympic team.
He thinks it still works. He thinks Tim Duncan is on this team.
Is he going to drive this team? Is he hindering this team? I mean, with his, I guess that's a rhetorical question. I kind of already answered it, but like, I don't know. Do you think the players are just not going to listen to him?
At one point, I really feel like they're all just going to be like, you know what, Popovich. Like, if they lose against Iran, they are so doing that. They are just going to be like, you know what, Popovich, that's it. You try. You had your chance. You had 3 scrimmage games and 2 regular games. It's time for us to just take over. And honestly, they probably have a better chance of winning if they do that. If they just played through the players, they would have a better chance of winning against any of the teams, even France.
Do you think Popovich is scared at all to yell at any of these players or call them out for not playing well? Because
definitely not.
I haven't seen him get confrontational at all with anyone. I could be wrong because I didn't watch the game yesterday, but usually I remember when they were doing tryouts in 2019 before COVID for the Olympic team, Donovan Mitchell did a windmill dunk at the end of practice, and Popovich got up in his face and he's like, "We can keep practice going if you were going to do stuff like that." Like a player that's not even on his own team, he's getting in his face about, but I don't think he's gonna yell at Tatum or something like that. Maybe he'll get on Keldon Johnson because he knows him.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't really look too much at Popovich's reactions towards the players, but honestly, I could definitely see him just getting frustrated if the team just starts, just going against him, just doing their own thing, not running a play that he did, not running exactly what he planned out. I could definitely see him be trying to confront. It's going to be Kevin Durant. I see it being Kevin Durant out of any of these players. He's going to say, I just see I don't know why. I could just see an interaction happening there. And then
he's tough.
The team.
He's tough on his hardest players. He yelled at Kawhi, or on his best players. He yelled at Kawhi. He yelled at Tim Duncan. I think he's freaked out at DeMar DeRozan. So hypothetically, you're not wrong in saying that he could probably get in Kevin Durant's grill and freak out at him.
Yeah, I definitely see. I wouldn't knock that happening, but if he does, that's going to be the worst possible case scenario for the team because that's it. Everybody's going to just absolutely lose faith in Popovich if he just gets in the face of somebody, because if everyone's already thinking all right, it's Popovich, he's the one that's basically making us lose the game, they're going to be like, all right, well, if you're going to yell at one of our players that we're friends with, one of our friends, that's it. It's your fault. You can't yell at us. It's your fault, basically, is what I see happening. If that were to happen, hypothetically.
So, to sum it up, what we both agree on is team basketball does not work on Team USA in the Olympics. You need to ride the hot hands. You don't need to really distribute the ball. Popovich maybe is more, and I think Popovich is more worried about that than the players. I don't think the players care as much if they don't touch the ball, as long as they're winning, or as long as one of their boys on the team. If Damian Lillard is scoring 40, or if Damian Lillard has 20 in the first half, the 4 others in the starting lineup, oh boys, let's get him the ball. Let's just let it fly.
Exactly. I could definitely see that happening. They all understand. If someone has the hot hand, just keep feeding them. And I feel literally that makes a lot of sense. Everybody would respect it and just be all right, you're the man for the game. But Popovich just
not all 5 players. I'll show it on the camera. There we go. Not all 5 players on the court need to touch the ball every possession for you to score.
Exactly. You can just one pass up the court. One person can just take it up the court and shoot a 3. Damian Lillard can just take the ball up the court and shoot a 3. That's all you need to do. You don't need to set some screens, try to go for something fancy, some mid-range shot. Just let the players, let them boys ball, as John said.
Exactly, right. And I think another key to this team winning is rolling with the hot hand, as we talked about, but also Bam Adebayo is going to be a huge part of this team because we need essentially our best and really only big man to, do what he did in this last game of get a double-double, at least, crash the boards well and also get some easy buckets in the paint.
If he does that, then we would have at least beat France. He did do that. If JaVale McGee, if they allowed him to do that, I feel like if JaVale McGee maybe played a little more, I don't know why I have so much faith in him. I just see him like getting just at least 7 points, at least 6 points maybe. That could have helped. That could have just brought the team a little momentum at the end of the game. If he was in there, maybe he scored 2 points, got the bench a little hyped up. I think he's like a hype guy. I don't know. I think the players watching him do well would have been like, all right, maybe it's not all bad. Let's try something else. I don't know.
How do you think someone like Tatum is going to do moving forward? Because he played 24 minutes, went 3 for 9 from the field, hit 1 3, hit both of his free throws to end with 9 points. Do you think they need to rely on him more, or is this just a guy who, played more minutes because it was like a blowout or something? Not a blowout, but do you think they should be depending on him a lot more? Because I would say he's probably the most reliable person on this bench. Yes, Drew Holiday had a breakout game against France, but I would say of this bench unit, I would put emphasis most on having Tatum perform well.
Yeah, looking at the team, definitely.
Because I would say Booker normally, but I'm just factoring in him coming back from the Olympics, or not the Olympics, the finals, because you can tell he's still kind of fatigued.
Do you think they should try to start Jason Tatum?
I wouldn't mind that. I mean, I was kind of surprised when I looked and saw that he wasn't in the starting 5 after being in the starting 5 for the scrimmages. So I'd rather put him there than Levine, personally.
Yeah, if you're gonna make Levine start with only 18 minutes and then Jason Tatum, do you think Jason Tatum's gonna start next game? Because that would honestly make sense if they just gave Zach LaVine only 18 minutes and then they gave Jason Tatum 24. I feel like they definitely. What if they even start Drew Holiday? I don't know.
I don't think you can start Drew Holiday over Lillard, personally.
Definitely not. But I mean, knowing Popovich, just it could be something weird. It could be something real weird.
Never say never. We keep saying so. I don't see that happening, but never say never.
Exactly.
And I mean,
with this U.S. team,
it's close. I mean, it's almost getting time to hit the panic button for Team USA, but
we're hitting the panic button. I'm hitting the panic button at least.
If you make a change like that, that's just going to be even worse.
That's so tragic. That'd be so tragic.
I don't think you can make a change like that in the middle of a tournament because you're already at a huge low from losing. At least you think you are. You don't know what the players care as much as we think, but regardless, it stinks to lose. And then, sorry, you're not good enough to represent our country's starting 5 or making a switch to the starting lineup. That's definitely would take a hit on the team. But Jason Tatum, I feel like he should definitely start. He should definitely start. Although they lost in the scrimmages with him playing in the starting lineup, obviously it's not his fault they lost in the games. You can't. If Popovich is trying to blame it on him by taking him out of the starting lineup, that'd be I don't know. I feel like it's not right. It wasn't his fault, He was good in that first scrimmage when they gave him the ball. He had 11 points in the first half, and they stopped passing it to him or stopped giving him shots. So he's efficient.
Yeah, just knowing it's Popovich behind everything, every pass and everything, is just why you bullying our boy Jason Tatum? Let him get some touches on the ball and. We could have won. We definitely could have won.
Easily a winnable game. And I think you need to run plays and then just let the players decide which plays are necessary. Or as you said, just play in the moment. do half-court lobs, have some fun. If you want to shoot a three from the half-court line, shout out Damian Lillard, then do it.
Exactly, because he could make it. We've seen him make it before. It's not the worst thing. It's not the worst shot. I mean, I don't even know. They found such worse shots. I feel like a half court would have been ideal in that game. Them shooting half court shots would have been ideal at that point.
So before we wrap this up, how do you think they're going to do against Iran? We don't really know anyone on the roster, both of us, but I'd like to think they win. I think it'll be close because we're still somehow dealing with a lot of rust in Tokyo, but I'm going to say Team USA wins 90-80.
90-80? Okay, I'm saying Team USA wins. I'm going 98 to Iran's 94. It's going to be close. I see it being a close game, and I don't know. I don't know why. Just us not knowing a single player on Iran scares me, because what if they're just like really good? What if they have the Michael Jordan of Iran?
Right. I was just literally going to say that.
That would be terrifying. So I see the game being pretty close, but I still see the U.S. coming out. If they don't, Davey, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think are their chances of getting a gold medal if they lose that game?
If you start 0-2, like I don't even know, like statistically, if you can even are eligible to win a gold medal if you lose 2 games in the first. Because
probably not. Yeah,
I don't even think we move on to the next round. So like we may not even get a medal.
That's bad. That's gonna be really bad if we start. Wait. So do you think? How many games were in this? Is it 3 or 4?
So this first little set is just 3 games against the other countries in our division. So France.
What's after Iran?
Is it Australia?
Ooh, that wouldn't be good. That would not be good.
That's a great question. Let's just verify that quickly.
Yeah, teams in SA division, maybe Olympics basketball.
I'd love if it would load. That'd be excellent. 20.
Oh, is this the? Did I just find them? Oh, never mind. Oh, okay. So what day is it? Oh, today's the 26th. They're going up against. So we have U.S. versus Iran, and then U.S. versus the Czech Republic.
Okay, Czech Republic. So
Czech Republic.
I don't know any Czech players, so
neither do I.
Hopefully we can, take 2 and then move on. But
so that game is on Wednesday. Nope. I just lost it. Saturday, July 31st, and then the next game is 28th. Okay. Oh, 12:40 a.m.
That's some weird times.
That's gonna be a highlight game. We're watching. We're gonna watch the highlights of that one.
For sure. So I don't see any reason why we shouldn't win these next 2 games in this like qualifying round, if you will. But we dug ourselves in a hole because a team like France, if all they have to do is win 2 more games and they're first place in our division, and we have to fight for the second place spot.
And if France plays well their next 2 games, because I mean, it's the fact that France beat us. If we beat Iran and the Czech Republic, France are 100% going to beat those teams as well, and so then that makes them 3-0 for the first 3-0 3-0 3-0 3-0. Yes, thank you.
No, you're good.
For the first round, and that's just scary for the U.S. because I don't know what happens after that. But if they're not the best team in the first division, that's not good. That's not good. But I also, this is kind of besides the point. I saw an Instagram post about Luka, how well he played for his game. Did you look into that at all?
We should talk about that on Spotify Greenroom.
Oh, okay, yeah, let's do it.
I did see that. He literally, as we've been saying, put the whole country of Slovenia on his back.
Really? Oh my god! All right, we'll save that for the Green Room then.
So, if you want to hear our take on Luka, join us on Greenroom. Right before we end this, I'm gonna advertise this one more time. Join us over on Spotify Greenroom in a few minutes. Follow me at my account at David411 or Carter's account, which is it Carter Biss?
Yes, sir.
So same as your YouTube channel. And you guys can join the room and you can unmute yourselves and request to speak. the viewers run the show. So if you have a sports take or just a basketball take, let us know. You'll be heard, and we'll just, talk about what we think about it. So the viewers control the show. The room is going to be open in a few minutes. It's an after show. It's a new app, Spotify Greenroom. We had a ton of fun the last time we did it, so we're going to give it another shot in a few minutes.
Oh, yeah. Sounds good.
So that is going to do it for this recap over on YouTube. Hopefully the U.S. can rebound tomorrow morning, I guess, or Wednesday morning against Iran. If you like this episode, hit the like button, absorb the subscribe button. There will be more Olympic content coming to this channel. Tell us what you liked, what you didn't like, what you like about us, what you don't like about us, what you like about Team USA, what you don't like about Team USA in the comments below. And we will have another recap after the Iran game. And once again, join us on Spotify Greenroom after this recap. Thank you, Carter, for doing this with me.
Of course, anytime. Can't wait for the next one.
And we will talk to you on YouTube in a couple of days already.
Yes, sir.
Everyone, take care.
Peace.